All right, welcome back. Welcome back, family. I'm going into part two, and I'm not going to play the video, but I did take some notes that I wanted to share with you. If you saw part one from yesterday, where we were focused on oppression in America and how both um, the state of Israel and the United States are responsible for global oppression. But the paper, I'm sorry, the notes that I took, it focused on this video that I saw years ago, and I thought it might disappear. But people have been able to um, do their own commentary behind the video where it talks about 6 million Jews. And these 6 million Jews are referenced from 1915 all the way up to 1938. Then you all know once the Second World War took place, then, we had the finalization, of the 6 million Jews and this thing called a Holocaust, right? But we'll look at how it was a political maneuver from 1915 all the way up to the point of a World War II. 6 million Jews just being, that number just repetitively being played. And here we are today, and they're resting within what you call the Middle East, portraying themselves to be an authentic people from the tribe of Judah, which they're not. And oh, for those that love to come into this room and say, you're playing the victim. Oh, I'm going to show you how these white Hebrew Israelites have played the victim the entire time, from them hijacking the heritage of being Jews. I'm going to show you. So whenever you come onto this platform and you say, oh, you're playing the victim, I'm going to show you how they play the victim, and you need to then point that finger to them and tell them, stop playing the damn victim. Thank you all for coming into the live. You can share the live, you can repost the live. Hey, post it to your stories. You tap that screen. That don't cost anything. That's one way that you show your support for the live. But we're going to get off into it and look at oppression around the world. And who's the cause of the oppression around the world? See, in this image right here, as I told you yesterday, you see the image of a, air quote, black man. But you can put a Palestinian, you can put a Iranian, you can put a Cuban, a Venezuelan, a Haitian. You can put any other people in this picture, and it still fits based on the oppression that's happening globally to people under the rule of these Europeans. Yeah, Netanyahu is a European. The state of Israel, these are just Europeans who try to reclassify themselves as Judeans or Jews. Oh, they deny it? Of course. They deny it. But there's nothing that substantiates them to be the authentic people. First of all, the authentic people are recognized as being a dark race of people. And you all say, oh, you're talking about color. Well, they invented the color paradigm. And now that I use it to expose the fraud that they commit and continue to commit, you want to try to make me feel some way about it? Hell to the no. No, 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 no. It's not going to happen. These Europeans, and that's what they are famous, notoriously famous, infamous for taking the heritage of people that they wish then to have their resource, their land, their oil, their gold, their whatever. At that point, they're like, if we need to be Indians, if we need to be Africans, if we need to be Australians, if we need to be Jews, then damn it, that's what we gonna be. You saw it in the movie, Flowery Moon, where I believe that was the name of the movie. I couldn't think of it yesterday, and I didn't even think to look it up, but it came into my mind that it may be Flowery Moon. And in that movie, they realized they had to become, or they had to blend with the Indians in order to get the oil, to get the resource. And they did that, and then they would then work to take the lives of those women. This is the people that we're dealing with in the world today, and you all are trying to get along with this evil. This evil needs to be eradicated. Yes. And unfortunately, the Arabs, they done damn sold out. Right? Now we have pockets of the Arabs that have not sold out, and they're fighting, for their self-determination. But the majority of the Arab world, they've sold out. Saudi Arabia, gone. They done sold out. These are the children of Ishmael. They're holding hands with corruption. The UAE and all those other Arab nations, countries, they done sold out. And they too are responsible for oppression. Right now today, they still deal with slavery in these Arab countries. Some folks want to act like it's not happening, but it is. And for that, I'm after you too. Because you're not enslaving Arabs. You're not enslaving Europeans. You're enslaving my people. You hate my people. Just as these European nations and heads of states and the European Union and the United Nations, oh, they talk nice, but they hate. They hate. And they use flowery words and colorful words to try to make it as if it's not true, and as if they want to help people with human rights, and all that stuff is, all of it needs to be dissolved, because all of it is being controlled by the Europeans. Thank you all for coming into the live. Share the live, repost the live. This is why I say tap the screen. Y'all, that part don't cost nothing. That's how you show your support, for the live. What do you say? He says, everything is on schedule. It's okay, bro. I hear you. Everything is on schedule. It's okay, bro. I hear you. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm with you 100%. Right? I'm a watcher. I'm with you 100%. Who said that? All right, Tim. I'm with you 100%, Tim. Thank you for the reminder. Everything is on schedule. All right. So who is this? Sarangastane 3? What's LOL, Sarangastane 3? What's funny to you? All right. So, thank you all for coming, into the live. Right? So, globally, when we look at the oppression that's taking place, and even when you talk about the wars that are happening, even in Africa, these wars are funded by the Europeans. Some say that, your Jewish population have a hand, in the funding of these wars, but they deny it. They deny it. They say they don't have anything to do with none of that. They've denied everything. They deny they have control over the music industry, over the film industry, over the media. They deny everything. None of it is real. Don't believe what you see. It's not real. It ain't them. They remind me of the penguins on Madagascar. You see nothing. It's the Jedi mind trick. Thank you all for coming into the live. You share the live, you repost the live. You tap that screen, that's how you show your support for the live. Hey, post the live into your stories, right? So when we talk about what's happening even in Africa, they're funding the wars there. How do you think those people get the weapons? CIA and MI6, these are all Europeans that are behind the confusion globally. And in the end, they want to set up Muppet governments that they control so that they can go in and get whatever the resource is. We can't continue to act like and or speak as if these things aren't happening. Yes, we see the African countries at war, but who's behind it? Who's the underwriter? Who's underwriting for them to do these things? And then the ones that are genuinely fighting for their salvation, to not be oppressed, to, have to deal with self-determination, they say those are the terrorists. And just because they put it in mainstream media, y'all eat it up. Those are the bad guys. Oh, they're doing this and they're doing that. Well, it's sad, but I can't help. But if they say somebody is a terrorist, I have to realize and investigate just a little bit more to come to understand these folks are fighting for their freedom. They're fighting for their life. And you all want to side with corruption. Make America great again. Donald Trump. You all want to side with corruption. And all they're doing is spreading their net of oppression. their aim or their goal is not just for the Western Hemisphere, but they want to control the entire world. So they're over there in what you call the Middle East, which is historically known as a Fertile Crescent. The Middle East is a European term. But they're over there and they've destabilized the region intentionally. Oh, and they had to put the white Hebrew Israelites in there because that would then give them a strong hold, or, a place to where they could be close enough to deal with the Arab nations or the Muslims. It's unfortunate because, and I would think the Arab nations would be smarter than this, but they've sided with their own demise. Because those people are there, the Europeans, the white Hebrew Israelites, and the Americans, and the Englishmen, and the Dutch, and the French. All of them are Europeans. They're Idumeans, historically. They're all there, and their aim and or their goal is to subdue and even oppress the Arab nation. So while they're acting as if they're your ally right now in this day and time, oh, they're just waiting. And they're going to flip that table on your head so hard. And it's unfortunate because you're doing it for the money in the name of Islam. You all see this stuff going on. He says, they are black Israelites, sir. What's your point in telling me that, Aaron? What's your point in telling me that? Right? But the Arabs think they're winning right now because they're getting the dollar bills, or they're getting the paper with the pictures of the slave masters on it, which that's going to flip, on them, and they too will be enslaved. Well, in fact, right now they are enslaved because they're under the authority of the Europeans in the name of money. And I'm still not clear what Aaron was talking about. They're black Hebrew Israelites. I mean, that's just redundant. The Israelites were never white, so what in the hell are you talking about? So looking at how they've oppressed so many people throughout the world, and they're continuing to settle within other regions and other countries. When they settle, that is to colonize, those regions. It says, how do we fix the racial, I guess it said, how do we fix the racial gap? How do we fix the racial gap? You can't fix the racial gap. I don't know what you want to fix. Right now, what we need to be trying to fix is the corruption. We need to be looking at what it means to eliminate the corruption. and who's behind the corruption. And I know you want to try and make it like, oh, everybody's behind the corruption. No. The Europeans are at the head. They rule the world right now, the superpower, right? They rule the world. Everybody is bending knee to the superpower. They dish out the corruption. If you don't want to play the game of corruption within, then they put embargoes on you and sanctions on you until you yield to the corruption and allow them to rule over you. Yeah, Aaron, I don't have time to figure out your riddle, man. You know, you might need to use you might need to use a different sentence or something. But I'm not the only one who can't figure out what you're saying right now either. So, you know. But how do we fix the separation financially? Oh, well, again, if you want to fix the separation financially, you got to get rid of those that are responsible for the deprivation. You got to get rid of the corruptors. The world right now is off kilter, off course, because it's being ruled in the hands of the wicked. That's Job 9:24, by the way. And some of you may not see it that way. Some of you may not even care about it that way. But once we eliminate the corruption, then we can set a course for righteousness and have a world that we don't deal in the sense of oppression. But you know, you're not dealing in equality either, but at least you have fairness. The world has never been ruled with equality, so let's not play that game. But if you can't have equality, then at least you can have fairness. Based on who is in position and or power to rule, fairness. There's never going to be an equality. Somebody's going to rule. A nation and or a class of people are going to rule the world, okay? And in that, there's no equality. You'll never be equal to whomever that people is. We only demand that people deal rightly. See, if the Europeans in their rule right now were dealing rightly, there would be no argument. But they don't deal rightly. And you all know it. You all know it. The black, brown, and red need to separate. Yep, we do. We need to separate from the European, especially right here in America, where you're talking about going to vote and things of that nature. The voting is not going, you know, to help. What do you mean they're doing it now? I'm not sure what part of the conversation you're talking about, but what they are doing now is still oppressing people, nations, all because they want, you know, their resources. Okay. Thank you all for coming into the live. He says, let the people vote, have more influence. See, that's crazy as hell. Brian, voting is not going to solve anything, Brian. In fact, that's a part of our problem. We think we can vote in a system that they created for themselves and that we're going to have some authority and or power. Like I said, I wish you would come in my house and think you have a voice. You better sit your ass down somewhere. That's what the expression would be. And that's how they treat us and or those that come into their system of democracy. Go sit yourself down somewhere and wait for what we want to give you. That's the privilege that they offer. For example, they gave black folks the privilege called civil rights. And mistakenly, we thought it was a right. They gave black folks the privilege to vote, which they called the right to vote, and we mistakenly thought it was a right. But because they gave it, it means they could take it away. That's what that means. An unalienable right, they can't give it, they can't take it away. But in the system of their democracy, we'll never have any control. So voting, it doesn't benefit you. What voting does is it helps to secure their position as the authority. So we do need to separate, even as the biblical writing says, come out of her, my people. And the question is, are you that people? That you receive none of her plagues. But we just keep trying to work with liars and thieves. And it's all to our demise. And we keep thinking we can build generational wealth in a system centered around maintaining European superiority, although they are an inferior people. We think we can have black banks, and no, this is what they allow for you to have to maintain control, because if you then step out of line, they'll take all that crap back. Ask Kanye, Kyrie, Colin Kaepernick. Ask Kendrick Lamar. Ask Nick Cannon. They all got a taste of it. See what else we got. So what does, let me see who's asking this question right here. Miss Hill. Miss Hill says, so what does eliminating look like? They have no motivation to change their ways. Well, Miss Hill, what elimination looks like, first of all, they would be totally removed from power, okay? Then the rest I'll leave to the biblical expression as to what prophecy says, how those that have caused oppression will be oppressed. And they say, oh Lord, no, we don't want to talk about that type of judgment. Okay? So first of all, they would have to be, removed from power. It says, speak for your land. Okay, I don't know where you're going with that. They would never do the original man right. Absolutely. And this is the reason why the original man needs to separate. The original man and woman need to separate themselves from within the structure of these people, their system, and the things that they've put in place that they can have that authority and or control. See, this is why they've said within the United States that black people are a threat to their national security. And you all just glaze over that like they haven't said it or like it's not written down. The FBI have it noted. The threat to their national security is the unity amongst the black folks. Don't let the black folks realize they are a separate people, a nation of people, and they need to govern themselves. That becomes a threat to their national security. And if it's a threat, you all, that means we're the enemy. What the hell don't you understand about that? Oh, because they let some of you slide through and you got your $200,000 home, you have your $400,000 home, you get to drive a Mercedes Benz. Oh, it's not that bad. Y'all crazy as I don't know what. You just as worse as the Arabs. You done sold out. You're no different than Esau, who sold his birthright for a piece of bread. You're useless. Powerful image. Appreciate it. But I tell you, with that image, you can put a Palestinian there, a Cuban there, a Haitian, an Iranian. The point is, oppression is global. And all the people that are being oppressed globally, we have a common threat. And we need to deal with that threat and not deal with it individually, because that's what they're counting on. And a point that I was making as far as them seeing black folks as the enemy and a threat to national security, you can parallel that with how they're looking at Cuba right now. Thank you all for coming into the live. Share the live, repost the live. Hey, tap the screen. That's how you show your support for the live. It don't cost nothing to do that part right there. Just tap the screen. But with Cuba, they say Cuba is a threat to national security. So Cuba is the enemy. And they're talking about how they're going to go in so that they can resolve their issue with national security. You all, that's the same as it applies for us. They consider us the enemy. And they're dealing with us like the enemy. And y'all want to go vote. That's sad. That's similar to having a Stockholm syndrome. Like you really think you can work with this evil. Voting, smoke and mirrors. Yep. He said voting ain't doing a damn thing. You're right. It never has. And our ancestors did not die so that we could have the right to vote. Those are lies. Those are things that they perpetrate to keep you engaged in their system. Our ancestors didn't die for us to continue being oppressed. Our ancestors gave their lives for us to have freedom, independence, self-determination, autonomy. They didn't give their lives for us to become a different type of slave. I'm checking out some of your messages here. Thank you all for coming into the live. Share it, repost it, add it to your stories. Tap the screen. That part don't cost anything. That's how you show your support for the live. We don't need nobody if we start supporting each other, right? So, you know, it's interesting, that dynamic. We don't need no one. Well, collectively, we all need each other, but it has to be dealt with correctly or in righteousness. Because this is a world, and the world has to be governed. So we do need each other, and we do rely on each other. But this thing of corruption, it's got us all messed up. I'll just say it that way. Okay. Everything is ultimately decided by the rich. And the watchdog is their military. Okay. Yeah, everything is being decided by the rich, which that takes me to, you saying that, it takes me to a point in my notes where it talks about in, let's see, what was that? It talks about in 1927 that the U.S. was sold to billionaires in 1927. Now, these are things that we've either forgotten or, again, we just try to act like it's not so. So again, the whole point of the voting, it don't make no damn sense. It's all symbolic. It's a theater. But here, when you talk about that article from 1927, it said billionaires buy U.S. from millionaires. It says future of nation in yet wealthier hands. It says the rich will regulate the government. They're going to deal with citizenry. So folks don't even understand from 1927, right? From 1927, that was when Calvin Coolidge was president, to then Herbert Hoover, to then Franklin D. Roosevelt. So in 27, it was expressed the country was sold to billionaires. This is what is so like undeniable to where folks still don't think this thing of America is centered around a corporation. Otherwise, how do you sell it? What did they sell? What instrument did they use? Y'all don't be ignorant. Don't be credulous. Don't be fooled through the pragmatism, the American pragmatism, the great pragmatics. Don't be fooled. Thank you all for coming into the live. You tap the screen, that part don't cost anything. That's how you show your support for the live. Share the live, repost the live. You can even add it to your stories, right? So here, in 33 to 45, the New Deal. You all had no idea what the New Deal was. That was the finalization to where the government was transferred to the wealthy families. In 27, it was announced in the papers that it was sold to the wealthy families. And the New Deal solidified it. That's when it was transferred to what you call an administrative government. I know they just don't teach and or talk about these things within their institutions. And these families, you all can double check, for me who these families are, but it's speculated that the five families would be the Rothschild, we've all heard that name. The Rockefellers, we've heard that name. The DuPont, we've heard that name. Harriman. Okay, I hadn't heard that name before, but some of you may be familiar. And then Warburg. Warburg. What? Isn't that a white Hebrew Israelite name? Because they deny that they have any hand in controlling anything. Warburg. Isn't that Warburg? Isn't that a white Hebrew Israelite name? I believe it is. So thank you for that comment based on the rich, controlling things. And we can go into the fact that the newspaper article from 1927, it explained that the country was sold to billionaires. And then Franklin D. Roosevelt gave you the New Deal. Y'all never questioned what the hell the New Deal was. While you're running around talking about you got a Republican form of government and the Constitution and that stuff changed long time ago. They just didn't tell you. And they're running the high level game. And they're feeding you what they need to feed you just so they can continue pilfering and or robbing the people and the country. But today you have an administrative government. So stop lying to people and talking about it's a democratic republic and it's a republic, and it's not. Ever since the New Deal, it's been an administrative government. You probably don't even know what the hell that is. You're functioning off of old information based on American pragmatism. So we're talking also about that thing of oppression and how Europeans are responsible for global oppression. And if we want the world to have clean air, clean food, if we don't want to deal with climate change or global warming, if we don't want to deal with disease and famine, they need to be removed from power. The falling state of the world today is because of their stewardship, a failed stewardship. They're not taking care of the earth, let alone the people in the earth, appropriately, proper, nor just. So for that reason, everything is in decline. And for all of you that think voting is going to make a change, and or by doing that, we have a chance to get in and do this and do that, we'll never have a chance to do any of that as long as it's through their system or their construct. It's not going to work. If you want change, then change your system of governing. See, they created the Declaration of Independence, and some of you are so lost even with that because you think they were talking to the King of England for the Declaration of Independence, and they were not. So who were they talking to? Do you know? Who were they talking to? That they were given independence. It wasn't the King of England. So who? Who granted them their sovereignty? Some of you, through your poor education, you still believe It was the King of England. But the Declaration of Independence, there's a revolutionary clause within that declaration. When you realize the government has failed to protect, it says you then have a right to protect yourself. What's wrong with you all? You don't realize they failed? They failed a long time ago. They're not protecting nobody but themselves. So for that reason, we now have the right, meaning you ain't got to go ask nobody. You ain't got to go vote. An unalienable right is God-given, meaning you can stand on it for that. It's different than the human right, and it damn sure ain't no civil right. But you all keep wanting to kiss the backside of these Europeans thinking that's life. And because you may suffer some degree of difficulty to have liberation, you rather stay a slave for the convenience. So mental health, you all, it's real. A lot of folks are mentally broken. Their disease is money. Their sickness is the addiction to this corrupt lifestyle. You get up every day to feed the addiction when you need to be working to wean yourself off of it, one step, one day at a time. Oh, we can talk about addiction. We can talk about addiction when it's dealing with alcohol and substance abuse. But this is a different type of addiction, just as severe. But you don't want to look at that because it means you'd have to change. You'd have to become the change that you want to see. For everything that's wrong in the world, you'd have to become the one that fixes it within yourself first. You don't want to talk about it from that standpoint. The way we eradicate the corruption and the evil is we separate ourselves from it. We don't continue to practice and accept their privileges and deal with their holidays. And some of you are getting ready to celebrate 250 years of independence for America. You're getting ready to celebrate your captivity and oppression. Mental health is real. The Stockholm Syndrome is real, and a number of you have yet to realize how you're impacted or affected by it. You don't want to hear this? You rather turn or go to someone that's going to lie to you and make it sound fly to you. Goody mob. You don't want to hear the truth. You want to hear something that appeases your sense that will allow you to continue within your addiction. A life of corruption, a life centered around lies. You don't want no discipline. You don't want accountability. You only want that on paper. You're no different than them from that sense, because you won't hold yourself to accountability, to then even hold them so it works. The ebb and flow of that works. Nobody's accountable. Nobody's dealing with principle. Nobody stands for integrity. That's their world. And that's why it's in decline. And as long as they can maintain the corruption, or as long as they can maintain to oppress, the people of the world, then they're fine. Everything is good. Anyone that speaks against their corruption, then they're a terrorist, or they're the bad guys, or they're a criminal. They're a threat. They're the enemy. And you all accept this. There's a verse in the Bible in Ecclesiastes 7:7, and it says, oppression should make a wise person mad. And then it says, but the gift destroys the heart. And the gift, you all, it's the nice house you got, the clothes, the cars, the lifestyle, the money. That's the gift that they gave. They allow for you to have that so that you don't consider the oppression. You're just a richer type of slave. You don't have the chains on anymore. You're now bound by a chain of words. Within an administrative construct, you're just a different type of slave. And because they pay you good, you say, I'm not oppressed. We're not oppressed. Look, we got it better than our foremothers and forefathers had it. A slave is a slave. There's nothing good about being a slave. There's no better in being a slave. That's the foolishness you all talk about, choosing a lesser of the evil. It's still damn evil. Y'all try to rationalize nonsense. Thank you all for coming into the live. Share the live, repost the live, add it to your story. And I tell you, there's a link on my page right now. If you go to that link right under where it says Saturday, if you click that link, it'll take you to a YouTube channel where I'm going to post this live and where I post the live from the conversation we had yesterday, centered around the same thing. Israel and America, how it equals oppression. This is just part 2. You click that link, it'll take you to that channel, fairly new channel. Subscribe to the channel. Whenever I have these conversations, that's where I post those. That's where I post the conversations. You'll see a litany of other conversations with panelists and people that I've had and topics that, we've covered. But thank you all for coming into the live. Tap the screen. That part don't cost anything. We're only at 7K likes. We should be up to 50K by now. We should be going hard, pushing the likes up. Share the live, repost the live. So, but anyway, talking about the oppression. And yesterday, someone said, they were like, you're playing the victim. Y'all, excuse me for 1 second, excuse me. Okay. All right, I hope it wasn't gone too long. All right, so yesterday they said, somebody was enjoying pointing out how this conversation, whenever we talk about the oppression that we face here in America and worldwide, because our people are oppressed worldwide. And here's the thing. We've been dealing with this oppression for over 4,000 years. We've been dealing with it for 250 years in America. So this is not new to us. So now when we see what's happening to a Palestinian or to those in Gaza and Lebanon, right? We can sympathize with that people. But here's the thing. For all the years and all the time that we've gone through the oppression as if nobody gave a damn. But now as they're going through it, we have to come to the rescue. And we should. We should come to the rescue because this is where we hold our position and or place as liberators. And this is what the Europeans know. And this is why they've made it. See, they don't give a damn about none of those other people and how they come together because they have their countries and they have their situations. They don't give a damn about them. Don't let the black people come together. Because if we come together, they know that's the end of their rule. And we'll liberate all of the other folks from the oppression. Sound like a fairy tale. But this is why they work so hard with COINTELPRO and all of their other devices to demonize and destroy our leaders is they know. They know who we are. We just have not yet come to understand who we are, that we should separate from them and know what it means to handle our own affairs. To hell with America and the American dream. It ain't brought us nothing but more captivity, more slavery, more oppression. And you all are still trying to deny it, even as they're stripping you from civil rights and this thing called the right to vote and everything else that they're doing. You ain't seen nothing yet. Their aim is to continue oppressing us even more, no different than it was on the walls of Egypt. The moment we remove ourselves from oppression, we rule. And we liberate all the other individuals from that oppression. They didn't give a damn about us. I know. The Palestinians didn't give a damn about us. The Iranians, they didn't really give. No, nobody came or has come to our rescue. I know. Because it's not for them to come to our rescue. It's for us to rise up and rescue them. That's what it means to be the righteous ruler in the earth. Oh, the Europeans don't want to talk about that because they don't want to be under the leadership of no black folks. They call that the medieval. They call that the dark ages. But it's inevitable. We were meant to rule this earth correctly. It's obvious they're not meant to do it because they're tearing it up. They can't fix it if they wanted to. Every time they say peace, another damn war break out. Every time they say peace, somebody else lose their life. Every time they say peace, you done lost your resources. You done lost your house. You done lost your land. This can't go on. And for those of you who have settled to the fact that they'll give you money, then you'll receive the reward of the wicked. What they get will make sure you get it. You all are deserving of each other. So I wanted to go to the point of playing the victim, because whenever we get to talking about our oppression and what we've gone through, you get Europeans coming up on here and say, victim mode, you playing the victim, stop playing the victim. And I say, tell that to the white Hebrew Israelites. Tell that to Netanyahu in the state of Israel. Tell them to stop playing the damn victim. Every time you turn around, they're telling you to remember. Remember October 7th. Remember the Holocaust. Remember, never forget. And not once have you told them to stop playing the damn victim. But I'm telling you right now, say that to them. We're still going through it. Somebody said, oh, you're talking about something that happened hundreds of years ago. No, this is happening right now. We're still going through it. So I wanted to go to this, I wanted to go through this video that I saw years ago. And I thought the video would be removed. So I downloaded the video then. But now today, that the actual original video is kind of hard to find, and you'll see where other people are commentating over the video. But it was about 10 newspapers from 1915 to 1938, old newspapers from New York to Montreal to Atlanta, the Atlanta Constitution. And in these newspapers, it was always talking about 6 million Jews. This was before World War II took place. This is how you know that concept about the 6 million Jews was like political theater. Because they've been running that number. But I'm going to get to some of the highlights, of that paper. And if you wanted to see the video, I mean, you could Google something along the lines of 1915 to 1938, 6 million Jews. And you may see some of the references and or, the videos that are out. And they actually show you the newspapers. But I'm going to read some of the headlines. And I'm going to read about 8, from the 10 that the video actually talk about. Thank you all for coming into the live. You tap the screen. That part doesn't cost anything. That's how you show your support for the live. Share the live, repost the live, you all. It's a number of you all in the room, right? Share the live, repost the live. That's how you show your support for it. Okay? And I appreciate you all that say you find this interesting and things of that nature, but beyond interesting, these are conversations that we need to have more of so that we can expose the corruption. We can end the oppression. It's going to be up to us because they don't hide what they're doing. They're very bold with what they're doing, and they write it down to let you know what they're doing. And because they write it down, they say this is what you agree to as being proper, appropriate, and just. They call that legitimacy. So they're claiming that what they're doing is legit because they wrote it down and you said nothing. Your acquiescence, your silence, is the acceptance. But the people need to rise up against the oppression. Not just locally, regionally, nationally, but this needs to happen internationally. And this is why we have to stand up and we have to end the oppression that's happening in Cuba, Haiti, The way they're impressing themselves on, Gaza. How they're looking to deal with the Venezuelan and what's happening in Africa. All of it needs to stop, and they are the culprit behind it. Covert operations, they fund both sides of the war. This stuff is written about. I'm not making this stuff up. You all know it's true. You're just addicted. You're just numb. You don't care. Because you're trying to put some bread on the table. You're an addict and don't know the type of addict you are. You're not hooked to a substance abuse. You're not hooked to that type of substance, but you're hooked to this corrupt life, and you say nothing. But you need to be sober, that you can stand against it. That's what a sober mind is. They fed us the pragmatism, the American pragmatics. And again, they don't hide it. But because the people are so weak and so addicted, they realize you're not going to do anything. Because all they have to do is offer you more of the addiction. I use the analogy of how we see those that are under the substance abuse today. We see these videos and people are just stopped in their tracks, leaning over in these awkward positions, and everybody is just whacked out. And I said, that's an illustration of how we look spiritually. Hooked into the addiction of the corruption and their wickedness. So we see this playing out on the streets. We get an external perspective of what's transpiring, but internally, that's what's happening to a number of us. We're addicted. And we need to be cleaned up off of the corruption, off of the lies, away from their thievery and their evil. The earth needs to return to its rightful place, and the steward within righteousness has to rule the earth in order for it to heal, in order for the people to heal. As long as these folks are in control, it's going to be more devastation. It's going to be more destruction. You can count on it. If they could fix anything, it would have been fixed by now. All of their words are vain, empty. Promises, broken. Every last one of them, broken. A deceiver? Yeah, that's them. These are deceivers. The sheer definition of what it means to deceive, right here. The representation. From America to the state of Israel, to the European Union, to the United Nations. These are deceivers. But a number of you are okay with it because they give you money. They give you education or indoctrination in the name of education. And you feel as if you're somehow doing better because they allow your crumb to be bigger than the next man's crumb. We're in a society of crumb snatchers. So looking at the state of Israel, 6 million Jews, 1915 to 1938, going back to that. And how these people have played and cried the doggone victim. They still crying and playing the victim. So don't you ever open your mouth and say to me or my people to stop playing the victim until you turn to them and tell them to shut their daggone mouth and stop playing the victim. Oh, but you're afraid. You're afraid of them. You're afraid of what they might do or what they might say because they have resources and they have money and they could ruin your life. Oh, but they deny that. They don't do that. They don't do stuff like that. So let me give you the first one as I go to the papers, right? Let's look at my notes here real quick. From 1915 to 1938, you had 10 papers. Now I'm just going to go through 8 of them. And in each one of these headlines, it was always talking about something happening to 6 million Jews. And I just said, damn, if it's only 6 million Jews, then after World War II, that should have been the end of it. It's always 6 million Jews. So you had the Sun. This was a New York paper. And that was June 6, 1915. Talking about 6 million Jews. Like I said, if you want to see that video, you just search on YouTube where it says, I said put in 1915 to 1938, 6 million Jews, and you might catch a couple of clips, you know, and you'll get to see the papers. Then you had New York Times, October 18th, 1918, 6 million Jews. They're suffering and they're going through, you know, hard times and they need money. Tell them to stop playing the victim. So in 1918, October the 18th, they received $1 billion fund to rebuild jewelry. Tell them to stop playing the damn victim, you all. In 1918, they received $1 billion. Do you know how much $1 billion is from, like, when you look at the value of that today? To rebuild jewelry. These people have always received help for playing the victim, but y'all say we play the victim and we need to pull ourselves up and we haven't been done wrong, and that's only because these are Europeans helping Europeans. Although one have hijacked the heritage of another people and they call themselves of the nation of Judah or Judeans. So $1 billion fund to rebuild jewelry. It says 6 million souls need help after the war. They've always played the victim. They still play the victim to this day. New York Times, September 8th, 1919. 6 million Jews need help, need more money. They got $1 billion to rebuild jewelry, but that ain't enough. And they're still getting money to this day from the U.S. government and this government and that government. Y'all, this is a heist. Because the true people of the children of Israel are ignored. The dark race of the Judeans are ignored. And oh, they even used the dark race as a part of their ploy, their cry. From Europe to Palestine, they said, the Jews need help from Europe to Palestine. Well, at that time in the 20s, and I ain't got to that part just yet, I'm coming to that part. When you see the videos, 1925, and you see the Judeans in that land at that time, they were darker than me. But they talk about it like that was them over there. Even then, these folks are liars. So then you had New York Times, November 12th, 1919. It said the sad plight of the Jews. Tell them to stop damn playing the victim. Then we have the Atlanta Constitution. This is the one that I was talking about where they claimed the Jews from Europe to the ones that were over in that region, they need help. And I said, if you look at the videos from that time in 1925, they were darker than me. So what the hell are they talking about? The Jews that are darker than me get ignored. If the European Jews can't rule over them and oppress them, they get ignored. So it was the Atlanta Constitution, February 23rd, 1920. Here again, $50,000 raised to save the suffering Jews. More money. 1920, $50,000. Do you understand the value of $50,000 in 1920? And you want to fix and open your mouth to tell me and my people to stop playing the damn victim? Tell them to stop playing the damn victim. Then you have New York Times, May 7th, 1920. It says Jewish war aid, $100,000. Jewish war aid. So they got $1 billion to rebuild Jewry. Then they turn around and they need $50,000 more to save the suffering Jews. And then they got another $100,000. What the hell is going on here? Don't you damn fix your mouth to ever tell me or my people to stop playing the damn victim. You look at these white Hebrew Israelites and you tell them they done played the damn victim so much, you sick of it. Jewish war and aid, $100,000 to save the Jews from famine, disease, and the loss of life. So when I say that we need to save my people from famine, from disease, and from loss of life, you tell me to kiss your back end. Oh, but when they said, oh, give them some money, give them some aid, go give them some help. See, this is how Europeans look out for Europeans, you all. They're nothing, they're Europeans, calling themselves Judeans. But the Europeans know who is who, and throughout history, who hijacked what heritage. And they have their agreements, and they help each other. Tell them to stop playing the damn victim. And what's the next one? New York Times, July 20th, 1921. The headline said, begs America save 6 million Jews in Russia. What's up with this number 6 million? But it finally stuck after World War II. It's starting to sound like some type of propaganda or, some type of political ploy. 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million. If it's only 6 million, and like I said, after the World War II, that should have been the end of them. But there's a report that said, oh, it wasn't 6, it was 12 million. It's so riddled, with confusion and lies. They can't even keep up with the lies that they tell. How did they come up with the number 12 million? The books say the people are like the sands of the sea, stars of heaven. You can't count them. How did they come up with 12 million? In fact, it's an abomination to even try and count them. This is how you know you're dealing with deceivers. So they beg America, no different than right now. They were doing it in the 20s. They're still doing it now. They were receiving billions of dollars then. They're still receiving billions of dollars. But you got some of my folk that are begging for reparations, and they get nothing. But when they beg and when they play the victim, oh, they open the purse and the coffers. Oh, the poor white Hebrew Israelites. Save them. Save their wretched soul. Then you have the Montreal Gazette. This is in Canada. See, back then the newspaper was like today cable news with mainstream media. They played that game in the newspaper like they play the game within mainstream media today. Same thing. They just changed the venue. They deny having control over these venues. Montreal Gazette, December 29, 1931. 6 million Jews face starvation. We're looking at this like, what's going on? 6 million Jews face starvation. What's going on? So they got $1 billion to rebuild Jewry. They got $100,000. They got $50,000. Now in 31, they need more money. For 6 million Jews that's facing starvation. My people, we're facing starvation. We're facing famine. We're facing mental health crisis. I mean, we're going through it. We could use 10 billion to help deal with our crisis. But when I bring that up, you say, stop playing the victim. Go get a job. Go get a job. Go get a job. But you have empathy for the oppressor that claims to be something he's not. Save 6 million Jews from starvation. In America, they open up the purse. Give the poor Jews what they want. But we're not going to tell the people they're not really Jews. These are our brothers, our kindred. They dressed up like Jews, like they dress up like they Indians. Like they act like they Africans, like they act like they're Australians. These people are known to hijack your heritage. So here we have New York Times, May 31st, 1936. Americans appeal for Jewish refuge. You see how long these folks have been playing the victim? You don't tell them to stop playing the damn victim. Don't you ever fix your damn mouth to tell me or my people stop playing the victim. And if you ever hear somebody telling our people to stop playing the victim, you remind them how damn good these white, how doggone good these Europeans play the victim as Jews. Throughout time. Oh, I know. Anybody ever shared these newspaper recordings? No different than mainstream media recordings, but back then they used the newspaper. I appreciate whoever took the time to gather these papers, and these are just a few. These are just 10. I'm sure there are many more. This is my last one. There are 10. I only copied down 8. New York Times, February 23rd, 1938, you all. Jewish tragedy. Jewish tragedy. 6 million Jews in Central Europe need help. Always playing the damn victim. Nobody says nothing. Just give them money. 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million, 6 million. Somebody get the needle on the record. It's skipping, it's scratched. 6 million, 6 million, 6 million. And finally it stuck after World War II. Six million Jews. But they say that's not true. What I'm saying is a lie. It's misinformation, disinformation. Don't believe it, you all. Because once the sheet is pulled off and they're exposed for being frauds, for being nothing but a European, a Caucasian. Let the history tell that they converted to being within the house of the Judeans through John Hyrcanus. But they say, oh, no, that history is wrong. Or that they converted through Judah Maccabees. Oh, no, no. That's wrong. That Herod, the one they called the Great, was an Idumean, another European by today's standards. As they infiltrated the culture, and now, no different than the $5 Indian or the Flowery Moon, that movie where the Indians had the land and they had to marry the women and then take the lives of the women so that they could get the resource of the land. This is a part of their playbook. This is who they are. This is what they do. So when we talk about oppression in America, you all, these folks right here are at the head of it. And if we're going to end the oppression, you all, it's going to take some grit. It's going to be hard. But liberation is worth it. If we have to suffer a little bit to have freedom, it's worth it. But for those of you that want to remain slaves, stay your ass right there. For those of you that want to keep voting, stay your ass right there. I was talking to a brother the other day, and he said something that, it made me stop. It made me think. He said if he became the Attorney General, then he could do X, Y, Z. Now, mind you, I've heard these types of conversations before. I've dealt with representatives and legislators and senators. I've dealt with them in the past. I still deal with them today. But they had this mind that they could go into the field and they could change something. And every single last one of them came back with their tail between their legs. Where the difference they thought they could make, they found out they couldn't do a damn thing. One of the representatives told me behind an initiative that I wrote centered around Fourth Amendment advocacy called Protection Against Search and Seizure. The thing that equalized, police misconduct. They loved it so much, they wanted to use it, to change law. But the representative came back huffing and puffing and looking down and upset. I can't do anything. I can't do anything. My hands are tied. The way the laws are written, my hands are tied. And this is my point. If it's anything that's going to benefit my people, the way the laws are written, it's not there to benefit you. They say all these things take time. We need more time. And they keep us on the we need more time conversation to where you have lived and you're gone. Now your children and their children are here and they still need more time. But if it's something that plagues them, you got 30 days, 90 days, hell, within the year, it's fixed. And you all don't think something wrong with that? But even with that, I said, well, hell, if your hands are tied, that just means we need to move about establishing a new precedent. Got to do something different. So, but when you start talking about establishing a new precedent, then again, folks get scared because now that means you got to be in the street. You got to take it to the court. They don't want to do that. They just want the Europeans to just love on us like they love on the other Europeans, and how every time the white Hebrew Israelites ask for $1 billion, $100,000, $50,000, that they say, sure, we're going to get you that money. They're not going to do that for us. But what the brother said, that it made me think. He said, if I became Attorney General, then I would seek to do X, Y, Z, this, that, and the other. And I said, well, you know what, brother? I hope you do become that Attorney General, because then if you're that Attorney General and you're going to do those things, then at least we could be allies. Because I'm not going in that house. I'm not playing that game. But if that's where you are and that's who you are, and you all believe that that's going to be your way into salvation, y'all go right ahead. You go right ahead. And then when you get that power that you're talking about, then we can work together in power. But I don't believe you'll ever have that degree of power, whether you're the Attorney General. Hell, Barack Obama couldn't do it being the president. He denied your ass then. What's her name? Kamala Harris, Vice President. She did the same thing. She denied your ass in your face. And then threw a party. Got all the entertainers together. I ain't gonna do nothing for you, but we could have a party. We could do a cookout. But when it comes to the white Hebrew Israelite, oh yeah, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that, and we could do this and stop that and build this, and you don't really seem to think that's a problem, because a number of you think, oh, they are the people of God. They're liars. They're tricksters. And for the brother that told me he could be the Attorney General, and then he could go and he could change this and he could do that, I'm just saying, I've heard it all before. And then, even if you were somewhat successful, they coming for your ass. They coming for you. They're going to get you out that seat. If you somehow find a way to circumvent their guardrails and you find a way to actually get through to help a black people, they coming for you. And they're going to eliminate whatever that help is or was. Their system is not designed to help black people. It's designed to oppress black people. Make America great again. What do you think that means? Liberation? Self-determination? Autonomy? No. Not for black folks. Air quote, black folks. Thank you all for coming into the live. I know what I'm saying is kind of hard for a number of people to hear, but these conversations need to be had. There's a link, you all, on my page, right here on TikTok. Right under where it says Saturday, 11 o'clock. You click that link, it'll take you to the YouTube channel where this video will be posted, and the video that we had yesterday covering the first part of this conversation, looking at Israel and America equals oppression. It's there. Subscribe to the channel. Help me build that channel up. We'll continue to put more dynamic conversations there, and you can share these conversations with your family and your friends that didn't get a chance to hear what you heard, but you feel there's enough value in what's being said that you need to make certain other people get to hear this. Scrutinize it for yourself. I love scrutiny because, truth, you can scrutinize it all day long. It doesn't change. It doesn't crack. Appreciate you all for coming into the live. You can share the live, repost the live. Tap the screen. That part doesn't cost anything. Share the live on your story. So as I was saying, stop playing the victim. Don't let nobody tell you that no more until they turn to the white Hebrew Israelites and tell them to stop playing the damn victim. Because we got records going all the way back to 1915 where they've played the victim, and not only that, they've received finances, resources. Ain't nobody gave us nothing but a hard time, a red line, broken promises. Do y'all remember the Great Society, Lyndon B. Johnson? I don't like talking about that story, but it happened. Lyndon B. Johnson said, we're going to get the black folks a great society. He said, oh, but it's one thing I need from y'all. I need 50 years to make it happen. See, my parents passed on. I knew nothing about it. It wasn't until the time when the promise was supposed to mature, I was 50 at that time, that they were making a joke, or they were mocking the fact of the Great Society and the broken promise. And they don't intend on fulfilling the promise. But these are the games that they play with us, because during that time, it was a turbulent time. And there were uprisings. And they promised the gift. And as I said, that gift will destroy your heart, your mind. So whatever they promise, whatever they offer, don't accept it. Don't consider it. It's a trick. It's a trick. Those who know, they should talk about it. They print the money. They make the money. They can give you as much of that as they feel, you need in order to buy your confidence and, to buy your loyalty, to then use you as a tool to then be against your own people. That's the spirit of Judas. And unbeknownst to a number of you, you're living within the spirit of Judas. Because they give you money. Because they give you this, they give you that. The gift destroys the heart. It said oppression should make the wise man mad, talking about Ecclesiastes 7:7. The oppression should make you mad. But then when they turn around and start giving you things, it destroys your mind. We can't accept their gifts. There's nothing that they can offer us. Only thing they can do, give back everything they stole. See, you all don't consider. When they came here, yes, they were running from England. But when they got here, do you think they were communicating with England when they got here? When they wrote the Declaration of Independence, do you think the King of England validated their Declaration of Independence? No. And they don't teach and or tell who they were talking to and or communicating with that said, you know what? We empathize with you and what you're running from. So we will allot an area for you and your people to reside. And they had those 13 colonies. And that was the agreement, that they would reside right there. But that wasn't good enough. And there are talks of the treaties and different things that were situated that they could have what they have right there. Now here's where the corruption comes in, and don't none of you talk about it. You all act like everything that they're doing is above board. These are criminals. To this day, they're criminals. Their ancestors were criminals. It's in their blood. They're criminals. But what did they do? They said, go west. Manifest destiny. There's no lawful implication to their manifest destiny. There's no legal ramification to their manifest destiny. They stole all of that. There's no treaty to uphold manifest destiny. But they don't want you to make the claim against that. Some folks say, if you don't like it, leave. Hell to the no, you leave. You came here. You leave. And then you brought some of us here, my ancestors. You hunted us. You leave and get back everything that you stole. And see, this is where, for us in this day and time, having all of the information that we have, it's time to charge them, even in the court and before the eyes of the world, for the theft. Oh, but you can't get Ben Crump for that. You can't get the NAACP for that, the Urban League, the Black Caucus. Where they at? They've accepted the gift. But there are no records to support anything outside of these 13 colonies that they had. So if anything, push them all back into that area. The rest of it, we should take it. We could have it. But you don't consider it from that standpoint because they've convinced you that all of it belongs to them. Where's the record? Where's the treaty? Where's the contract? It doesn't exist. It's all off of a presumption. See, over time, people have lived and people have moved on. We've been indoctrinated. So it's as if we've forgotten what they've done. And they're hiding their theft. But there's no record to support manifest destiny. They stole it. And like I said, well, with the 13 colonies, they may be able to validate, hey, when they came here, the governing body allowed for them to have this parcel and or this area that, they could run from the tyranny. The people were so gracious that they said, you know what? We'll share this with you and you can be here. And they went full evil. They came with gifts. The gifts started making people sick. Then you had the Trail of Tears. Y'all, come on now. We ain't gonna act like they didn't do it when they did. They're gonna have to answer for that. They don't get no free pass. And this is why they don't want us as, air quote, black folks to organize because we're going to hold their feet to the fire. And we're going to liberate the world from oppression. But that then means they have to remove themselves from the seat of authority. No more superpower. God is not going to bless America. You're not going to make America great again. What does that even mean? Are we supposed to like fill in the blank? Does make America great again mean we're all going to thrive? No. Make America great again means European success. Everybody else oppressed. And whatever they want to give you, that's what you take. They'll have those that they consider close to them and they'll pay them off. No different than like what they're doing right now. From this race to this, it's so sad because you even have damn Palestinians that they paying right now. And the Palestinians want you to believe America's good, America's great, it's all right. But yet, if you take that same mindset over into Israel, they say to hell with Israel and Israel this and Israel is bad and this, that, and the other. It's like, well, damn. That's the same thing I'm saying about America with my oppressor. So you want me to accept you saying my oppressor is good, but your oppressor is evil, and it ain't like this oppressor? I ain't going for that crap. Shut your ass up. You just accepted the gift. And it has destroyed your mind. The same oppressor that's over there in the state of Israel and for what he's doing to the people of Gaza, it's the same oppressor that's right here in America and what he's doing to my people. So don't you bring your ass over here and try to act like what's happening here is not that bad. Oh, we're going to fix it. Oh, we're going to get it together. We're going to get it right. And we're going to help you through your oppression and what's happening to you and your people, because we're going to liberate the world. And it's interesting, but that's what you're waiting for. See, nobody came to help us, and we realized we're going to have to be that help, and even the help to you, because you're needing and asking for help as well. Well, we're that help. You may not have realized it just yet. But I tell you this much, the Europeans and the white Hebrew Israelites, they understand salvation is going to come through us. That is why they work so hard to keep us oppressed and allow you all to thrive and do what you do. You're not the threat. We're the threat. We are the threat. And they wrote it on paper. So go tell your senator, go tell your representative, go tell your commissioner, go tell your mayor, go tell the governor, go tell the attorney general to denounce the FBI for calling black people a threat to national security. Or make them even explain why we've been deemed the enemy to America. They won't do it. While you're out there talking about go vote and your vote matters and all that, answer that question. Make them answer that question. Tell them to denounce it, because it sounds like terrorism, an act of terror to me, to call me a threat, to make my people the enemy. For what? What have we done? What have we done? The mere fact that we would no longer want to be under your rulership or in line with your oppression. So for that, we're a threat, because we want to deal with reclaiming autonomy, self-determination, or liberation. We're a threat. Because we don't want your democracy. We're a threat. Because we would rather push you back to your 13 colonies. And have the resource that we can then negotiate and communicate with other heads of state. For that, we're a threat. What have we done? Oh, not like what you've done, talking about the white Hebrew Israelites and the other Europeans. They're all Europeans. They're all Idumeans. What have we done? Not like what you've done. You've lied. You've taken the lives of different communities and people. You've stolen the resources. Everything you have done, it has been underhanded. But yet, you've deemed us to be an enemy and or a problem. Yeah, we're the enemy to your lies. We're the enemy to your corruption. We're the end to your wickedness, to your unrighteousness. And you know this, man. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. And unfortunately, for those of you, of my people, that can't see it, don't understand it, you're going to receive the reward of the wicked for maintaining your hand in their hand and for standing against righteousness or a proper change, for standing against justice. Because it's justice to watch the corruption fall. All the heads of corruption have to fall. That's justice. And for those of you that fight to maintain those heads of corruption, then you're guilty by association. And you're going to receive the reward of the wicked. It's just that simple. So here again, as I close out, told you guys I was going to come back with this part 2. Whatever you missed, I'm going to put it up on the YouTube channel. There's a link on my page right now. It won't be there long. It won't be there long. I promise you it won't be there long. But if you go right now, that link, right under on my page, right under where it says Saturday at 11 a.m., there's a link right there. You click that link, it'll take you to the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the channel. I'll post this video there so you can get what you missed and the conversation we had yesterday talking about this same subject. Israel, America, the oppression. That video from last night is on the channel. This one, it'll be there, as well. And you'll get a chance to hear some of the other discussions and panel discussions, that we had. So help me build up that channel. And for your family members and friends that didn't get to hear this conversation, that you think are worthy to hear this conversation, you'll get to share it with them. Make clips of it, post it out, whatever you do. People need to hear this conversation. We need to expose American pragmatism. We need to expose the great pragmatics. We need to understand how they've created false facts. I know that's strange, a false fact. That is just so weird. But they created information to substantiate their lies, to substantiate their rule, their policy, their procedure. They created something called the presumption of law. All this stuff is wicked. But no one questions it because you got your bachelor's, master's, your doctoral, and you're getting paid this money, so you just go along with it. You sold out. And for some of you, it's hard to admit that you've sold out, but the moment you admit you've sold out, then you can pump your brakes, and it might be time for you might have enough time that you can turn around. But there's some of you that you're not going to turn around, and you're cool with the fact that you sold out. And you want to encourage others to follow your footsteps. But yeah, it hurts being you. So I want to thank you all, for your time, for coming into the live, for sharing the live, for reposting it, putting it up on your stories. Make sure you go to the YouTube channel. I told you the link is right under, on my page, right under where it says Saturday, 11 a.m. Click that link, subscribe to the channel. Help me build that page up so we can put more information, on that page. That channel is called Protection Against Search and Seizure. That's where I talk about things like this, civics, Fourth Amendment advocacy, things that are centered around liberation. One thing a brother said, and it makes sense. Once we're looking at what liberation means, we have to understand what it means to protect it. Because if we can't protect it, then we'll never be liberated. And when you look at how they did our people based on, the Rosewoods and the different centers or cities that we've had, we failed to protect it. So we lost it. So we can't be that weak frame-minded individuals anymore. We have to protect what's ours. Now, I'm not encouraging people, hey, to go grab your arms and, to cause conflict, but I am saying we need to be able to protect what's ours. Very much similar, like to what happened, what they call October the 7th. In the state of Israel, where they're acting as if the Palestinians just woke up one morning and was like, they just want to do some crazy stuff. No, them folks are trying to protect their livelihood, their liberty. And when they did it, they said, oh, they attacked us. Oh, they attacked us. Oh, put it all over the news. Oh, look what happened. Oh, they just came. Our systems was down. But that was retaliation for all the stuff that they've been doing. Folks just got sick of it. Same thing with us. Should we go, into a frenzy? Folks gonna say, oh, we lost our mind, but it's like, no, we just got sick of it. It's retaliation because of what they're doing and denying the fact that they're even doing it. They want you to think something wrong with you. You don't feel that knife in your back. I didn't put that knife in your back. I would never do that. I'm here to help. They put the knife in your back and then turn around and act like they want to take you to the doctor and get it sewed up to where you feel like they've done you a favor. Now you owe them something. Y'all better wake up. Y'all woke. Y'all keep saying y'all woke to my folk. Out west, up north, down south, east coast. You can't be woke. You can't be someone that is in the know, but yet you still damn trying to vote. Vote for liberation. Put that on the ballot. Put that on the ballot. Liberation. Who votes for liberation? Put that on the damn ballot. End corruption. Put that on the ballot. Vote to end corruption. Put that on the ballot. Vote that they return the land they stole. Put that on the ballot. No, you won't vote for those things, though. Unbeknownst to you, you go out and you vote to enhance the oppression of your own people. And you try to convince others to participate in the madness. I'm not mad that they took the civil rights and the voting rights and they've reintroduced segregation. They've been reintroduced segregation. Oh, my point to the Great Society. My point to that was they said they need 50 more years and then they were going to give you this Great Society. And once that 50 years was up, then they damn turned around and took everything from you again. Here recently, the civil rights, the voting rights, they just need more time. See, they were caught off guard in the 60s. And they were like, damn, we need more time. And they studied everything that happened to where they're saying, look, we need to make sure they don't come at us like this again. So they're ready. They're prepared. should we use any of the so-called tactics that we used during that time, they had 50 years to re-strategize, to get ready. Now that they're strong after that point, now they're like, okay, all that we gave them in the 60s, now we can take all that stuff back. And we're in a position now to defend, our position, should they act crazy. Should something pop off. We're a little more prepared, at this point. But this is who you're dealing with. And you think folks can go and vote to change the oppression? It's not going to happen. Segregation is in effect now. They put segregation in effect before they took the civil rights. They put segregation in effect. Donald Trump did. So embrace it. Embrace it. To hell with them. Let them run their own stuff. Why are we fighting to maintain the oppression? Let them run their own stuff. Now we need to take that energy and that effort to governing our own affairs. Keep it segregated. Oh, since we're going to be segregated, okay. All that land that you stole that you don't have any legal record and no proof that it's yours, you got to give all that back. All the resources, they got to give all that back. Oh, see, all of this is written, you all. Even although the United Nations, although they're nothing, they don't have any power. But they made the record. And we need to be able to stand on the record so that no one acts as if we're just wilding out. It's like, no, here it's written. This needs to happen, this needs to happen. And then we need to know what it means to enforce it, because they won't enforce it. Not against themselves. It's for us to enforce it. Oh, but don't wait for them. Don't wait for their experts and their professionals to tell you that. We're looking to them to enforce a measure on themselves in correction. It's not going to happen. They're liars. They're criminals. They're thieves. They're not going to do it. In fact, they showed you they're not going to do it. They're like, don't come at me with no international law. That don't apply to me. That's for the black folks. That's for the other people. Y'all follow our policies and our procedures. You do what we say. And y'all just quiet and acting like all this stuff is normal. But it's not. But in the UN, they have, based on decolonization, they wrote this stuff down. Resolution 1514, Resolution 1541, Section 73E. It expressed they have to turn the resources over. Once we stand up and announce that we're ready to govern ourselves. And it says there's no excuse that they can make to say, oh, we need 50 years, we need a year. It says immediately they have to turn it over. See, that's power. And we can't expect for them to give us that power. We have to take that power. We have to stand in solidarity that we're looking for liberation, self-determination. We're reclaiming autonomy, not looking to go damn vote. In a world where they've announced segregation, you want to fight to be under them and continue to be oppressed, you crazy as hell. You want to convince people that it's not that bad and this is how we get power. The way we get power is through liberation. The way we have power is through governing our own affairs, not theirs. America is not meant for you to rule, for me to be in position and or power. It's not. They created this. They came from England, and this was established for them. They just stretched the truth and called it manifest destiny, but they're just over in this small little parcel and or place. That's where they belong. Push their ass back to that place. Everything else, it belongs to us. And technically, even the parcel that they have, it belongs to us. But it's under the right of a treaty. All of these things would then need to be revisited. And that's what they don't want to deal with. They don't want to deal with you NEGROs. But it's inevitable. I'm going to stop right there. What'd he say? This person said, a constitution of the British Empire. Okay. Right? But I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to thank you all for coming. Thank you for sharing, the live. And most I willing, I'll be back. Again, the YouTube link for this video and other videos is on my page, right under where it says Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. Click that link. It'll take you to the channel. Subscribe, to the channel. I thank you all for your comments, for your interest, for all of the likes, for the shares and reposting and all those things. So, and until the next time, y'all be safe. All right, so I say good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Appreciate you.